Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Court Martial Podcast. Introducing your host for this evening first. He is the host with the most from the West Coast, the Bay Area Brawler, Skylar Greenberg. And his partner, he has colonized, energized, and revolutionized the podcasting wrestling world today. Your Colonial champion, Sean McAfee. And welcome one and all once again to another terrific, fantastic, exciting episode of the Court Martial Podcast. I am your Colonial champion, Sean McCarty, the proprietor, the founder, and the best ever promoter on the face of this earth of the one and only Atlantic Coast Pro Wrestling. And the reason that's important today is that we are doing a big Season 2 redraft, and alongside me, the man of the hour, the man with the power, too sweet to be sour, the proprietor of the National Wrestling League, the one, the only Bay Area Brawler, Skylar Greenberg. Welcome back, sir.
Is Goldberg WWE champion yet?
No, we got a couple more weeks, man. You got to wait until the end of January, 31st.
I'm gonna keep asking that question every show.
Man, I really hope that Drew wins now, just so if you ask, I can actually defiantly say no, but we both know the truth. We both know the truth. Sadly.
Damn COVID.
Sadly. So, anyway, Goldberg is not going to depress us right just now, because this is what's going down. For those of you who watched last year, the third week in every month, we saved for our ACPW versus NWL Fantasy Booking Extravaganza, which started in June, where we drafted 30 slots, both tags and singles competitors, as well as the females in at least the National Wrestling League, and a couple in ACPW. We did a big draft, and for the past 7 months, we have brought to you week to week, or month to month, as it were, based on the format, 2 exciting shows with fantastic twists, surprising turns, and then, of course, what it's all about, fantastic championship matches, all wrestling, in my case. And we now are heading into Season 2, because we didn't want to stop with the cliffhangers that Skylar and I gave at the end of December, did we, Sky?
No, not when there's so much potential with our rosters.
That's right.
So why throw all the way the hard work when we can continue to make it even better?
That's right. And that is why we are here today doing our redraft. Now, here's how it's going to work. We have decided that of the 30 slots that we had, which is either a single, tag team, female wrestler, yada yada, we have decided that we could keep anywhere between 10 and 15 of those 30 slots. And it just so happened that Skylar and I both chose to keep 15. So we're going to talk about who we kept and why we kept them real quick. And then we're going to get into the second half, or we're going to get into the next part of the draft. And Skylar will go first, I will go second. We'll have 15 picks apiece, except we're going to do something a little bit differently here. Because for the 5th pick, the 10th pick, and the 15th pick, instead of Josh Ageddon giving us some abysmal picks, we are going to try and give each other different picks, because Josh Ageddon wasn't really involved in the booking beyond just giving us crap picks.
Exactly, and we specifically said they had to have been an active wrestler, and in some cases we got dead wrestlers.
Yeah, we did. Well, you did. I mean, you got the entire Lions Club midget division, which hosts their parade.
Besides Marco Stunt, I couldn't give a shit about the other 3.
Yeah. And it was, and boy, you really tried hard not to give a shit about Marco Stunt. You tried. And, but well, you know.
I came up with a great storyline.
But for every one of those, I got Santina Morella. So.
Oh, yeah.
So, although I did have fun with that. For what it was worth, I did have fun with that. But in any case, we are going to just tighten the ship up a little bit here. So, Sky, I'm going to let the National Wrestling League begin. Tell us who you kept and why.
Okay, so the first 9 wrestlers are as follows. Drew McIntyre, Kevin Owens, Seth Rollins, Roman Reigns, Jon Moxley, Edge, Daniel Bryan, AJ Styles, and Keith Lee. And I have kept those 9 wrestlers because they're all my best singles wrestlers and my best singles stars. And they're going to be the main event guys and maybe upper mid-card guys, but they're all going to be big-time players.
For sure.
Especially because 2 of them, well, Kevin Owens is my world champion and Keith Lee is my mid-card champion. I can't get rid of those guys.
Well, oh yeah, well that was the other thing too, is obviously we couldn't get rid of champions. That I figured that was
Right.
pretty obvious to do, but yeah, I mean that's a grade. I mean that's 9 really solid names to put in. And if I recall, with the exception of Edge, most of these people, Keith Lee didn't, but AJ Styles did. Dan O'Brien was a part of that Hell in a Cell mixture match. Moxley was involved in the title picture, as was Drew, obviously. Owens is the champ, Seth Rollins and Reigns. Those are pretty much 9 main eventers right there.
Yep. And the best part is that Keith Lee is a guy who I want to promote to the main event. But we'll get to that when we get to that.
That's right. Slow burn.
Then I have my tag team division, which consists of the New Day, Kofi Kingston and Big E, the Bar, who are the champions,
Yep.
the Usos, and the Almighty Crew, Bobby Lashley and Apollo Crews, with their manager, Eric Bischoff.
Right. Yes, that's right.
And it's a solid foundation for a tag team division, although I want to improve it because if I have anything that I had an issue with when I was booking my company last year, I kind of had the tag team division on the back burner a little bit. So I'm going to put a little bit more focus in that.
You know, it's tough to do, especially because for the past 20 or 30 years, tag team wrestling just has not been a focus of any wrestling promotion. Not really. I mean, not in the way that it used to be where tag teams were main eventing shows. I mean, when was the last time in WWE a tag team? I don't think there was ever a tag team. When was the last tag team main event? That was a serious 2 tag teams for tag titles main eventing a show, or even just 2 tag teams that they actually cared about. That wasn't just some haphazard, I'm the champ and here's another guy that they just threw together that night.
I'm racking my brain.
Yeah, you can't name one. And that's WWE.
Closest was John Cena and The Rock.
Yeah, and I don't know what it is about. Yeah, I don't know what it is about Vince that he just doesn't see the money in main eventing tag team wrestling, and that's the thing. So it's not really entirely your fault, Sky. It's just that a lot of people, especially when they break into the business, with WWE really being the only major game in town, it's hard to know anything differently because tag teams have just not been a focus of any pro wrestling organization.
Or it's cheaper to pay for single stars than tag teams because in tag teams you got to pay 4 guys and single stars you just got to pay 2.
Well, I suppose if that's the way you want to really look at it, depends on the gates and the houses, I suppose.
Right.
But in any case,
my two women are Toni Storm and Charlotte Flair, and they're the foundation for my women's division.
Yeah, I'm noticing that you canned a lot of women, sir.
Now, we'll get to the draft when we get to it. But
Yes.
specifically, you can can people, but you can rehire them.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, it's not like you fire them and then you're like you can't no. That would substantially derail a good portion of what I'm doing here, because part of my draft is redrafting.
Plus, what am I going to do with Asuka?
Well, you gotta give WWE credit for really making sure that she looked about as bad as she could this past year, and it really doesn't help now. You know?
No, all the excitement comes from her. But anyway, that's my roster. So, who are you keeping on your protection list?
Well, I've got a few good names, and for those of you who are not aware, which would be all of you, Skylar and I, just for the sake of our own drafts, shared these with each other prior to, just so we knew, like, if there's somebody that they were dropping, Skylar was dropping and I wanted, I could write them down on my prospective list. It just made drafting easier, so we both knew. So just so you know ahead of time, it's not like any of these are going to be a surprise to Skylar. So I don't have as many individuals as far as singles talent as I thought I did, because unlike Sky, I did decide to focus way heavier on a concrete and firm tag division. And as a result, I'm keeping 8 tag teams. So we'll start with the champions FTR, because obviously FTR and Jeff Cobb and Jim Cornette are just running rampant everywhere. Obviously, Jeff Cobb I have to throw into there because Jeff Cobb is, of course, the new ACPW World Champion. He's going to stay. In that group, we saw the debuting Randy Orton, who made his presence known with an RKO seemingly out of nowhere to take down Brian Cage. Have I made your eyes roll yet, Sky?
Yes, you have.
Yeah, I figured I might have. But that's why I said it, to elicit the groan. We got DIY, who the last time we saw them, they had lost a match to another team that I think a lot of people are going to be surprised I'm keeping. It is the makeshift team of Orange Guava. That's right, folks. I am keeping Orange Cassidy and Sammy Guevara. The match made in heaven. Are you excited to see?
Just admit you wanted to keep that name.
You know, I wasn't going to keep it, but here's the thing, right? What am I supposed to do? I have Orange Guava in the last show of the year. I have them beat DIY. I have them beat Johnny and Ciampa. That's a huge win for two guys who would otherwise had nothing going for them. I can't just drop them now.
I think that speaks more to how low you have made Johnny Gargano and Tommaso Ciampa be.
Well, you're going to have to stay tuned because DIY's staying. They're still on board. As are Fish and O'Reilly, Redragon. And they are going to stay because they're just great. There's no way I could let those two go. I'm going to also keep Outlaw Inc. because I love Eddie Kingston, and I will always love me some Eddie Kingston and Homicide. Same thing with the Hardys. Their experience right now is just too valuable for teams that are going to be on the up and up, and we're going to talk about that when we get to the draft. Same thing goes for the Briscoes. Because the Dirty Briscoes, honestly, have been a really instrumental part of not so much being at the top of the tag division, but being the stepping stone to the top of the tag division and getting a good enough spot where they're not being diminished in their value, but they're also getting people prepped and ready for that. Almost a mid-card tag team, which you need, in order to really have a solid division. You need the top guys, but you also need those middle ground areas. And who better than the experienced Briscoes?
They're very good as the gatekeepers to the belt, and they could rise up and eventually be champions if they're given the right push, but they're also good as guys who you have to beat in order to get a shot.
Yes, exactly. And
even if those dirty damn Briscoes cheat.
Yes, they do. They took an affinity to brass knucks, I have been told. So that has been their deal. So I had to keep the Briscoes because, again, they're just so good. They're just so good. And so here we've got the remainder of the list. So I had to afterwards. So I'm going to jump around here. So I'm going to say a bunch of things that I've already said, but I just wrote all these down. So we talked about the Hardys and the Briscoes. We talked about Outlaw Inc. We talked about Fish and O'Reilly. We talked about Orange Guava and DIY. Of course, we talked about FTR, Jeff Cobb, and Randy Orton. We have to keep the former champion Brian Cage because obviously, how could you dump Brian Cage after losing the world title? Couldn't do that. MJF, obviously I've got to keep because he proved to me and proved after the double turn that he and Cody had, he's going to be a great babyface going forward. And likewise, I think Cody's going to be a really good heel. I'm going to keep Cody as well. And
you can't get rid of those guys because those are your top singles wrestlers.
Yeah, I had them figured in. And they're so figured in that if I got rid of them, it would just create a rift. I couldn't do that. They're my top guys.
Right.
And that leads me to another guy that I'm actually creating a team and consolidating because there is canon for them to be a team. In the same way that we have Bobby Fish and Kyle O'Reilly, I'm going to keep the tag team of Adam Cole and Roderick Strong.
But that would probably be more of an alliance than an actual tag team. It's a great way for you to keep both of them.
Well, it was, but I think I'm probably going to keep them as a tag only because Adam Cole was really, at the heart of it, tag wrestling for most of that run when he wasn't chasing after them. You know, we had some singles matches, but all in all, you know, what ended up making Adam Cole and Roddy's connection so strong, even if it was an alliance, there's still more that can be done with those two if they wanted to keep that going. Or, you know, and I haven't decided this yet because I haven't booked anything yet, or if I really wanted to keep the feud between Redragon and Cole and Roddy going, theoretically I could, even though I blew it off with I almost said Brandy, but with Dr. Britt Baker.
And don't you dare say that name.
So we'll see where that goes. But in any case, I got 2 more guys left to talk about, and then we'll get into this draft. Trevor Mann, I had Pentagon injured, and I just didn't feel right firing him off an injury angle. Unlike Goldberg, who I had no problem doing that because he was just like completely hospitalized and couldn't wrestle. But Trevor Mann, Ricochet, I mean, I didn't feel right. It didn't feel right for me to break his arm and then just never see him again. So out of respect,
there's a lot of potential there with a comeback story.
Oh yeah. So there's a lot more for Trevor Mann to do. And then the last guy, just because he was so smarmy and because he was just, I loved everything that both you and I made this guy. Because I think that your booking when you put him in the Hart Foundation Cup also helps how dislikable we made this guy. I kept, and I'm going to keep the gimmick as well, Shorty G. Because we took what was supposed to be the crap gimmick of the century made by Vince McMahon, and between the two of us, we made that quite a fun gimmick, which I think, with the way that Gable works, would get over.
The thing with the gimmick is that in order to make it work, you have to go for the extremely weird. Otherwise, it's not going to work. And we did it.
Well,
we did it.
And you also have to let Gable be Gable to some respects. You know, the problem with that gimmick as well was that was all forced WWE writing. You know, and I've heard Gable cut promos. He can cut a hell of a promo. You let him do the promos on this, and the way that we let him do the promos on this, theoretically, he would knock this out of the park if given the free reign to, I think. But with that said, it is now time for the next, and if you want to look at all that, I hate to throw the plug in, but I love to throw the plug in. And if you want to go back and hear what we did with Shorty G and all of the ACPW versus NWL Season 1, you know what you got to do. You got to like, share, subscribe. You got to make sure you put that ankle lock, Patriot lock, Gable lock, whatever you want to call it, on that bell button, switch it all, and then you will get everything you've ever wanted from the Court Martial podcast between Skylar and myself. You know you can do it. I know you can do it. I believe in you. But it is now time.
We, the people.
That's right.
Subscribe to the Court Martial podcast.
That's right. But there's no guarantee that you're going to get anything related to Jake Hager out of the deal. We do not include that.
Yeah, right.
There's no guarantee. So, with that said, we got 15 picks ahead of us here, Sky. And the National Wrestling League, because I went first in the first draft, NWL gets to select first in the supplemental draft. So for Season 2, kick it away, Skylar, Bay Area Brawler. Let's hear what you got.
Now, before we begin, we should actually go over the rules real quickly.
Yes.
So, you can draft any wrestler, male, female, single, as long as they have been active in the last year or so and had a match.
Yes.
Tag team, if you draft a tag team, they have to be together as a tag team. You can't split them up initially. You can split them up later, but that's your own prerogative.
Right. And on the same token, if we wanted to form a tag team that had not been active for a while, but both guys are wrestling, you are allowed to do that. A la what I did with the Bar, a la what Skylar did with the Golden Lovers last year.
Right. And if a wrestler is injured or currently not available because of circumstance, then they're not allowed to be picked.
Okay. That's fair. Because I was okay, no, that's fine. That's fine. Because full disclosure, I had significantly thought about giving you Brandy Rhodes. However, she's going on maternity leave, so I'm not going to do that to you.
Now, here's the thing. I was going to give you Brandy Rose for the last pick because she goes with Cody.
That's true. But now that we've made that qualifier, now Brandy Rhodes is off the table.
Now I got to come up with an even more horrendous pick.
That's okay.
We'll get there, though.
That's funny how we both thought for the worst of the worst, and we both chose Brandy Rhodes. Oh, God bless you, Brandy. You put up with so much garbage. Yeah. But it's true.
But she sucks.
Any way to get on television.
Any way to get on television.
Besides, did we really want to give her more TV time? Be honest with yourself, Sky. Did we really want to give her more TV time than she's already getting?
I mean, hey, if we get paid for it.
Do we, though?
Yeah, you're right. anyways. Let's begin.
Let's start.
So, with this first pick, there are so many intriguing options I have.
For sure.
As far as who I could take. I could take a wrestler, I could take a single, I could take a female, I could take a tag team.
Yep.
But there's only one person who I could take. An enigma in professional wrestling. Someone who hasn't been around for a long while, but cuts the best promos in professional wrestling and is the best person right now who generates heat. So with the first pick in the 2021 Fantasy Wrestling Draft, the National Wrestling League selects from the Indianapolis Colts, Pat McAfee.
Interesting. That, you know what? I like the decision. I really like that decision, actually, because I would not have thought about Pat McAfee. Great selection, sir. That's a great choice.
I need someone who can generate the heat that he does.
Yeah.
And the fact that he has only done 2 matches, but looks so natural when he does it, it speaks to Rip Rogers' training.
Yeah.
It really does.
It does.
And also to the athlete that McAfee is.
Yeah,
no.
He
is a bit... He is a bit limited, so I'm going to have to be careful with who I pair him with, but he's a great pick.
No, but he's got so much potential, though. I mean, that's you could really turn Pat McAfee into grade A, really big-time drawing wrestling talent. That's a tremendous pick. I would not have even thought to take Pat McAfee. That was a great first pick.
Yes, it was. And I was concerned because I thought maybe you would think about it.
No, it's funny. It's because Pat's so much out of the wrestling sphere more than he is in the wrestling sphere, it just didn't cross my mind as I was putting the list together. Besides, I was trying to preserve a certain individual that I need to keep on this roster. And I know this is going to sound absolutely stupid for me to choose this man number 1. But this man has been exactly what I needed him to be. He was a guy who I know perceptively, collectively, among pro wrestling in the actual sphere we've got, he doesn't really get much of a look. He never really did. Because, he was just doing one thing or another. But I was like, give me this guy and I'll cater to his strengths. And it'll end up being something valuable. And I honestly believe that he really has been valuable. And I want him on this roster still. So your jaw's going to hit the floor, Sky. But with my first pick for Atlantic Coast Pro Wrestling 2021, I am taking back Titus O'Neil.
I'm not shocked. And in fact, I am going to admit right now, I actually wanted Titus O'Neil.
I figured you would, and I was like, there's no way. There's no way he's going to take Titus O'Neil first. There's no chance this dude can take Titus O'Neil, but I thought about it. I'm like, there's a chance. Just because of what you're doing right now with Lashley and with Apollo Crews, and because of the way that I had built him to be actually somewhat decent of a player, I knew that he could have been on your radar, and I had to make sure I got him back.
But he's a great pick for your roster, and he's going to do great stuff in the mid card.
Yes, absolutely. It's what we have him for.
All right. So now we move on to pick number 2.
Yes, sir.
And I outlined in my draft that I only have 4 tag teams, and of those 4 tag teams, I only have the New Day as faces. And I need more good guy tag teams.
Okay.
But I also need tag teams who could also potentially play heel, because I need to be able to switch to the other side if need be. So with that, I'm going to go to Impact. And I'm going to take a tag team that's under the radar but should be highlighted for the good workers that they are. With the second pick, the National Wrestling League selects the North.
Good choice. I wish that they hadn't broken up recently and they got that stupid Karate Man garbage. That, you know, because Impact's going to Impact. But I was impressed with them in the matches I've seen of theirs as a team. And I think that that's a solid addition. It's somebody that you could add now, and because not a whole lot of people know where they are, you've got a lot of potential as where to take them, which is also a big help for you as you're building that division up.
Just think, they had Ethan Page leave Impact because of the fucking, what was it called? Because of that Karate Man thing.
Yeah. Wait, they actually, like, fired him because of that?
So Ethan Page left because they were going to do that Karate Man versus Ethan Page thing, and he got so upset at how they were going to book it that he just straight up quit.
Well, I mean, I can't.
But I'm thinking,
I can't blame him, but it's a good pick. It's still a good pick.
Thank you, my man. Now you go on to your pick.
Which leaves me in an interesting spot because he was one of those guys I knew I needed. The one I really needed back, I got back. Of the people who I was really trying to get back, I needed Titus O'Neil. He was the only one I really say I desperately needed to have on my roster. But you know, you mentioned tag teams, and you mentioned Impact. And that pushes me because I am now, with 8 tag teams in, I still want another team to pop in. And now this is the hard part, right? Because I don't want to overload with guys who are only going to have a limited shelf life. However, right now I think with the tag division that it is, and the fact that I think that pretty much all of these teams that I've already got could still go, you know, FTR is going to go for a while, but all these teams that I've got, like, for example, the Briscoes have got another 2-3 years on them. Same with the Hardys. Same with Outlaw Inc. Same with Kingdom. They got a few years still on them. Fish and O'Reilly've got plenty of time, as does Cole and Roddy. Orange Guava, I don't know how long I'm going to keep them around, but just for how old they are, they've got years left on them. FTR's obviously got years left on them, and I think that these two also have years left on them. For how long, I don't know. But there's one man in this contingent that I have to keep, and there's one man I'm taking new. And let me put it this way, Sky. Did you see the most recent episode of Impact?
No, because I don't watch Impact.
Good, okay, that's what I figured you'd say. So then, you didn't see the return on Impact that happened just recently.
Just make your pick.
He doesn't realize what's happening here. Sky, you and I both like money, right? When we have it?
Yes.
Now, you're over 21, Sky, so I imagine that you've had every so often you've gone out and had an imbibement, a beer perhaps?
Oh my God!
With the second pick in ACPW, I choose beer money! That's right, ladies and gentlemen. Robert Roode back to ACPW, but he's brought a friend. And this friend likes beer. That's right.
You are so lame.
I am reuniting Beer Money to join my tag division because it is going to be a game changer.
Okay. And I got so worried because I'm going to take another Impact team.
I'm assuming it's the only other one that's worth a damn in that business, in that company.
It's the champions. I'm selecting with the third pick, the Good Brothers.
Yeah, I figured as much.
I was so worried you were going to take them just because you were going to screw me.
No, don't get me wrong. I like the Good Brothers, but they didn't do... Right now, their stock was diminished with me a lot when they went to WWE and went and did nothing. So like, I don't really have as much hype on them maybe as other people do. And I like both of them. You know, they're both good workers, but that was all you, dude.
To be honest, for perfect honesty, the only reason I'm taking the Good Brothers is because I need to get AJ Styles some backup.
Yeah. No, fair enough. Fair enough. The only reason I took beer money is that I realized that because James Storm came back on Impact, I actually could.
Yeah.
And that makes me happy. So that puts me, because I did not want to get rid of Robert Roode, but I didn't have a really good spot for him in the mid card. Not really. You know, he's one of those guys.
Yet, anyways.
He was one of those guys I felt I didn't do enough with, because he's so good, and it's like, and I feel maybe that in this tag division that I'm actually putting a lot of attention into, he'll get a little bit more out of it. That's my hope.
That's fair.
But that leads me to the next pick. And with my next pick, now I've got to consult the board here, because I've got quite a few potentials. Now, I'm also going to be drafting some lower card guys because I need jobbers. And that's going to be a part of, you know, and I'm going to need to do that as well. But before I do that, I'm going to take a guy who I feel isn't there yet, but's getting there. He's a young guy. He got in with the wrong crowd, and they're teaching him bad stuff. And I want to turn that around because his look's good, his attitude's good, his promo's good, his athleticism's great, and he just needs some polishing. And this is a place where people in AEW can get some polishing. So with my third pick, I'm going to choose Hangman Adam Page.
Not the person I thought you were going to draft, but that's a very good pick.
I feel like it's kind of a disservice that we didn't draft him before, because he was, at least with ACPW, because it's right up ACPW. That's exactly what we want in a talent. That's that's exactly the kind of talent we're looking for. But there just weren't enough spots, and I had other ideas at the time. So it's nice to finally get him back where he needs to be. Is he going to be a world title contender? Probably not, to be honest with you. But he'll work his way. He'll work his way.
Especially because I already know the other person you're going to draft.
They're staying as far away from each other as possible. Let me tell you that right now.
But have you noticed, by the way, that 3 out of the 4 last picks have been Impact tag teams?
It's true. Because they actually care about their tag division a little bit.
So let's make it 4 out of 5. With the 4th pick, the National Wrestling League selects the Motor City Machine Gun.
Ooh, good pick. Good pick. Those guys will fit right in with your format. Oh, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, those guys are like hand-built for you. Yeah. No,
and
great.
And they shoot up the Motor City.
Yeah, great. Honestly, great pick. That's a National Wrestling League steal right there. They wouldn't work for me. It's just not the style.
I was worried you were going to draft them, though, because I know you like them.
I do like them.
I know you like them in the North.
I do like them, but the problem with the Motor City Machine Guns is that their entire offense is built a lot more on like the high flying and that's not really what I do in ACPW. You know, my stuff is a lot more ground and pound, Mid-South territory smackdown, you know, than it is about the over athleticism. That's not taking anything away from them, but because you've got more open avenue in your format for that, they better fit what you're going for than what I'm going for.
Plus, they provide something that's different from the other tag teams. Like, I have the New Day, the Bar, the Usos, the Almighty Crew, the North, and the Good Brothers, and those guys aren't high flyers.
No, and I think you're going to have some great matches. I mean, there's some dream matches there as far as, like, seeing the Bar and the Motor City Machine Guns go at it would be a barn burner. An absolute barn burner.
That will be one of them. Having the North go against the New Day. Oh, damn it.
Yeah.
Anyways, continue with your next pick.
Well, my next pick, I'm going to be the first to jump towards shark-infested waters. And I'm going to pick up a guy that you dropped. And the reason I'm going to take this guy is that while I liked what I did with Pentagon Jr., Pentagon to me has lost a lot of his allure. Partially because I don't think that the dynamic between him and Zelina was right, necessarily. You know, I don't know if Pentagon really needs a voice, but moreover, I feel like Pentagon's motivations are more laced with himself than they are with a woman. You know, it almost like it didn't fit quite. You know what I mean?
I know what you mean. Pentagon doesn't seem like the type who would carry around a Zelina Vega-like manager.
Right, which is why, whether I get Zelina back or not, I'm going to take someone who could be carried by a Zelina-type manager because he's done it before. So my 5th pick is going to be Andrade Cien Almas.
And you want to know something interesting? I didn't plan to draft him. And the reason why was because I kind of ran into a little bit of a conundrum with him.
Which is
that
what?
Was that I couldn't push him above the other guys in the main event.
Fair. It's yeah.
That's nothing against Andrade. I love Andrade, but he has such a hard time beating the other guys in my main event scene, and I didn't want him to languish in the mid card forever.
Well,
so I'm happy that you're picking him up.
Yeah, it's like anything else. Not everybody can be the world champ at the same time. You gotta have mid card guys, and you know, but I feel like Andrade is gonna be a great mid card guy for me. You know, he's a guy in a division where we've got big top names. Somebody like that who's a good workhorse who could really put on some good matches and provide a different style, something that offsets the older school attitudes of MJF and Cody Rhodes and Randy Orton, and gets a little more spunk into that, a little more lucha in there. So it's something to shake up the format, shake up the style a little bit.
I hear you, and I appreciate it.
And now it's my turn.
We're on to our special.
That's right. It's now the special picks, and because it's your turn, I get to choose who you're going to take. So, I have a long list of people here I could give you, and I'm ready to give you. Now, initially, I was going to give you a good pick, a medium pick, and a bad pick. And I'm still planning on doing that. But I don't know how much you're going to like the picks I give you, even if I think they're good. That's the problem. So
we'll find out.
So
we'll find out.
So the first guy I'm going to give you is somebody who I think you could make good use of. I'm actually going to give this one, and I think you're going to like this one. I'm going to give this guy to you because I thought about drafting him, and I said, I'm not going to do him right. I'm not going to do him right. And you may fall into the same thing, whether it's a mid-card spot that you put him in, or, hell, I can even see you giving him a main event. I can see you giving him a title shot, a world title shot. That's the kind of guy I'm giving you here. But because of the presentation, again, that he's been getting from WWE, he has lost a lot of his luster. And I think that if there's anyone who's going to be able to bring that back, it's going to be you, Skylar. So for your 5th pick, the National Wrestling League is going to draft Shinsuke Nakamura.
Wow. So Nakamura is on my board, but not as a high one, but as a replacement. That's interesting.
So, and I will not be upset or offended if you give me a garbage pick, even though I gave you a solid pick.
I'm trying to figure out what I would do with Nakamura, because I'm not sure.
Well, that's going to be the challenge for you, sir. I gave you somebody who was good, but the problem is, where? And I stumped him with a good one, ladies and gentlemen. I've stunned him into silence.
So, to foster a good relationship, I'm also going to give you a wrestler who I think is good. I don't know if you necessarily see the same thing in him. And just like with Shinsuke, he's kind of gotten done dirty in WWE, although he is shining lately.
Okay.
I'm going to give you, with the 5th pick, Finn Balor.
Interesting. Very
And the
interesting.
reason why is that you have a very wide open singles scene because you still haven't filled out your singles wrestlers. And I think Finn Balor could bring some interesting things, especially because he's different from the guys you have already.
Well, and especially considering that I still have the over-the-top disqualification rule.
Well, so
so
you give him 1916 DDT as his finisher, not the coup de grace.
Well, yeah, that's... By the way, we mentioned this before. I'm just not a fan of the coup de grace as a finish. I understand why it's a finish. I get it, because it's a big stomp to the chest that could kill somebody. But it just... Visually, it doesn't do it for me the way the DDT does. But that's
fair,
just...
But the more I'm giving you for him for his wrestling, his holds, and also for his promo work, he does very well as the heel badass.
Well, there's no doubt he's a good hand. So it'll be interesting to see what I end up doing with him, because in the same way, I'm not sure what I'm going to do with Finn Balor. So, challenge accepted. I like that pick, Sky. The floor is yours.
All right, thank you. So, with the next pick, now I've shored up the tag team division with 7 tag teams. I'm going to move away from that for a little bit. I need to address something that I didn't do in last year's draft, and that is completing the stable, because I've had 2 guys wrestling, and I was missing the third, and I need the third piece. So the National Wrestling League selects with pick number 21, Xavier Woods.
I suspected that Xavier Woods might be coming into Camp National Wrestling League.
And part of the reason why I didn't draft him last year is because he was injured, but now he's healthy and he's wrestling, so I can take him.
There you go. And it'll be interesting to see how he interacts with the New Day now that he potentially reunites.
Yep.
Okay, all right then. Well, let's see here. I don't want to start drafting jobbers yet because we're too quick into this. So I guess I gotta continuing bolstering up my mid-card division. And I'm gonna pick a guy that... See, as much as I love doing this, I really do fear I'm getting a little too aged here. And maybe that is a downfall of the guys I'm getting. Maybe it's just the fact that they just do it better. I'm going to choose, for this one, I argue that this man right now is the best wrestling promo in the biz. Right now. Because every time I hear this dude talk, he draws me in immediately. You know, he's not as fast as he once was, but I think he's still... You could build a lot with the talent that I've got in this place and with the talent that he has had for so many years and that he's going to really be able to use to not only teach people in this business, you know, in these divisions what to do, but also just to be able to bring his talent on a stage that is going to treat it with respect. With my next pick for my mid-card, I choose the natural. Dustin Rhodes.
That is an interesting pick, and you want to know something. Had you had not selected him before the next pick, where I forced you to pick someone, I would have given you Dustin.
You would have given me Dustin Rhodes as the pick?
Yes.
That's funny. I had to take him. His promos are so good.
Right. Plus, he works well as a guy who can be a wrestling coach in the ring. And that helps with your roster, which it's not on the youngish side, but you need a steady hand like Goldust in the mid-card and working with the other guys.
Well, and that's just it. And I think that there's guys who have still got plenty of gas left in the tank that I'm going to be able... I've got a lot of veterans in here who are going to be able to help teach some of these people who may not be at that position at this point. So...
Yep, that's true.
I'm enthusiastic, and there's more picks to go. So what's your next take, Sky?
So I need to continue working on my mid-card, and part of the reason why I dropped Andrade is because I tried to have him play the chicken shit heel, which I fully admit is the character heel I hate the most, just because of how lazy it can be sometimes. But this man plays it much better than Andrade.
I know who
really has shy with his heel work,
He
I'm
has.
selecting Sami Zayn.
He really has. I love, even though the booking that he's been in has not made any sense at all, he's made it work. And you got to give credit to that guy for doing what he's done in the past year or so to really remain entertaining no matter what he's had put in front of him. He's definitely.
I look forward to using his talents in the National Wrestling.
Yeah, definitely. That's a great pick. Another good one for your format. Absolutely. So the next pick, I'm gonna choose a younger guy this time. A guy who I've never really been a fan of. To tell you the truth, he's a guy who just has not really done it for me. Maybe it's the jorts, maybe it's the leggings, but recently I've seen more in this guy, more fight in this guy, and determination as far as how he sells, to where he may not be pushed very hard, but he's a guy who I'm starting to think may actually have some sort of really, in real wrestling, may actually have something going for him here. So, with the next pick, I'm going to choose a surprise. For me, I'm going to take Darby Allin.
I assume you're going to put him in better pants.
Well, I'm probably not going to tag him up with Sting. if that's what you're referring to.
I assume you're going to give him better pants.
Some wrestling trunk, I would think some tights would help. I would also probably escort him to the gym occasionally, and see if he could squat some and build up some actual legs. Because don't get me wrong, I like looking at stilts as much as the next guy, but I mean, it's
there's only so long you can walk a guy with chopsticks to the ring.
His legs are painfully small, man. It's like the one thing, his upper body is cut. He's in shape, obviously, but his legs are so small. And it's like, dude, give me some squats. Give me something. I want to see some calf meat. So with squats in mind, I have chosen Darby Allin.
That is fair. So with pick number 23, I have 13 singles, 7 tag teams, and 2 women, and I'm starting to neglect my women's division, so I need to really build it back up. I'm going to rehire one of my women, and I'm going to rehire the biggest and the baddest chick of them all. I select Rhea Ripley.
Good choice. Very good choice. And it's funny that you chose women because I'm actually going to choose a woman myself. Now, I know that I've been using women more as valets, so to speak, but I did promise last year that at some point I was going to launch a women's division. And I'm not going to spoil when, but sometime in 2021, I'm going to launch that division. And we are going to get a women's division ACPW, so I got to make sure that I at least have a couple people on the roster who have been on the roster, who people are familiar with when that starts, so that they've got some name recognition in case they haven't seen anyone else before. So with my 23rd pick, I've got Andrade. So I've got to take Zelina Vega. Welcome back, babe.
She's a good pick, and the good part with her is that she could be a manager right now, and then she can transition to be a wrestler later on.
Absolutely, and that's exactly why I'm keeping her, because ACPW fans, they've already seen her. They've seen her with Pentagon. She's cut promos, so they know she can talk. Now Pentagon is gone, because I'm spoilers, I'm not going to redraft them unless you give him back to me.
That's an interesting thing. Why would you get rid of him? He had a good gimmick with breaking arms. In fact, it may be better working without Zelina Vega, because then you could have him break arms just as the silent monster.
But how far does he go? He lost to Heath Slater. He's lost to Heath Slater twice.
Well, but
he lost Zelina Vega. He gets upset with that. But then, he starts breaking arms. But you can't put a guy that size, not with the guys I've got. How is he going to beat MJF? You put him against Brian Cage. Is he going to go anywhere? Even in the mid card.
Okay, you make a good point.
It's nothing against Pentagon, right? It's nothing against him. But with a breaking arm gimmick, that's something you reserve for a top angle. And I realize that too. It's like you see someone's arm broken in the first 30 minutes of a show. Are you going to be impressed with a powerbomb later on in the night?
The only reason why I'm a little concerned about it is because then you're leaving Trevor Mann without a storyline to come back with, and he's going to fall flat because he never got his revenge.
True, but could you not argue that it was Zelina Vega who ordered the attack on Trevor Mann? So it's not necessarily the foot soldier that is to blame, but perhaps the manager, the puppeteer behind the puppet, mind you. And that is something that Trevor Mann could still chase.
But you don't want to have a man wrestle a woman, so
I didn't say you would. Because wouldn't somebody who's with Zelina Vega make sure that Trevor Mann couldn't get his hands on her?
Well, I was about to say that you could have a woman team with Trevor Mann, and then... Okay. We're getting into spoilers and storylines and shit.
The point is, there's still places to go with that without Pentagon being involved in the equation. I think. Because that happened with territories all the time, where people had to dust up just like get up and somebody left town and they had to figure something out. Like, there was a match in 82, I don't mean to go on too much of a tangent, but in 82, there was a match between Flair and Jerry Lawler in Memphis. And they were going to work, and those two were the biggest names. You know, obviously Jerry was huge. Flair was Flair in 1982. This was in August. They were going to start a long-term program. The match that night was that Flair said Jerry couldn't last 5 minutes with the champ. Flair couldn't beat Jerry in 5 minutes, so he asked for another 5 minutes. Then it rolled out of control. Then there was promos. Then there was chaos. But then a couple weeks later, Flair had to leave because he was touring NWE champion. Things were going wrong. Jerry got hurt. And then all of a sudden they had to switch it for Nick Bockwinkel, and then Bockwinkel came in instead. So that kind of stuff with territories happened all the time. And because when I started ACPW, I wanted it to be more territory style, that kind of thing could very easily happen. And I think we could still make it work.
If you say so, but...
I guess we'll have to wait and see.
It depends on how you book it.
That's right.
Depends on how you book it. So with that, I need to hire another woman back, and someone who I kind of dropped the ball with last time, and I need to really work and get her to where I think she can be. So with the 24th pick, the National Wrestling League selects Bianca Belair.
Bianca Belair. Good choice. Still very good. Still very usable.
I dropped the ball with her, and I admit that, and I need to work better to make her the star that I believe she can be.
That's totally fair. I absolutely get that. And she's a great pick. She is honestly a great pick. But that leads me into my next pick. And I think in the same way that I can't leave Trevor by the wayside because of an injury angle. I don't want to have Zelina come back and get a new manager and not have somebody who is more factored in than Zelina not reappear on the show. So I'm also going to pick a female, and I'm going to pick a female that ACPW members are familiar with. That's right, Dr. Britt Baker. Welcome back.
And now it's time for the next one.
Yes, and now I am... Now, just for the fun of this one, I'm going to let you give me mine first.
Really? You're going to reverse it?
I'm going to let you, just for this one pick, lay it on me. Who you got?
So, I'm going to give you someone who has a name, but they're clearly past their time.
So anyone in this 8 billion person planet, this person has a name.
Okay. Had a name in the professional wrestling business, who is past their prime, and I don't know how much is left with them, and I don't know what you could do with them, but it certainly would be funny to watch.
Oh, God.
So I'm going to give you RVD. Rob Van Dam.
I love that pick. I love that. I would love to have Rob Van Dam on my roster. I am so excited to bring Rob in. He's another guy who's going to be perfect with a lot of these guys, working with these younger talent, high as hell.
Now, the only thing is that I was originally going to give you Chris Jericho, but I thought Rob Van Dam's better.
Well, Rob Van Dam, at least I think, could still move around a little bit.
He can. He's still in decent wrestling shape.
And now, oh God, I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do, because you're going to hate the picks I choose. All of these. And I love Rob Van Dam. Okay, you know what? I'll give you another good one. Okay, or a better one.
No. Just give me the pick you're going to give me. Just give me the pick you're going to give me, okay?
I'm going to also give you...
It can be as bad, and I'll make it into lemon.
I'm going to also give
Lemon's in the lemonade.
I'm going to also give you a guy who I think you could get some mileage out of. How is up to you, because he's been a little bit of everywhere. He's also older. He's going to be in the ring soon, very soon, within the next, month or so, I guess. Contrary to a lot of people believing...
You better not do it.
Contrary to a lot of people believing he should be in the ring. Contrary to the belief that the weather changes upon his arrival.
No.
I am going to give you, for pick number 25, the man beast, Rhino.
Oh, damn it. I thought you were going to give me Sting.
Fooled you there, didn't I? That's right.
I don't like that pick.
You thought I was going to give you Sting. A big name draw. No, sir.
Since when does Rhino change the letter?
It's up to you. You could make it Rhyno. Rhino.
Okay, whatever.
So, well, he's been wrestling for forever. Some say he shouldn't.
No, he should not. Well, if that is the case, then I need to draft him a tag team partner. And I'm going to take from ACPW, I select Heath Slater.
Good choice. Good choice. As much as I would have liked to have kept Heath, I didn't really do much with him. And I didn't want him to just be a jobber. But, speaking of jobbers, I got to start taking some. Because my divisions are good, but I need people to lose. So, I'm going to start by taking... I'm going to take this guy. And I know you wanted me to pick him last, but I want to take him now. Because I have a great gimmick for him that's so true to him that it's going to be perfect heel garbage. And when he gets his ass whipped time and time again, I know both you and I, Sky, are going to take such joy in this. I choose the real artist, the wrestling artist, Kenny Omega. Enjoy getting your ass beat, buddy.
So heavy with AEW.
It's well, because a lot of the AEW guys have talent, but their booking is so ass backwards that it's like it wouldn't take much to make a lot of these people stars, but you're so bungled on who is good at what because the people who are telling you what's good are the problem. And so
that sounds like WWE.
And so instead, let me have a go at it. I will put Kenny Omega where he belongs. Your turn.
That's fine. This is garbage. Okay, next wrestler. I'm going to pick a female jobber because I need female jobbers now. Give me Dana Brooke. I'll take Dana Brooke.
Oh my God. She was going to be who I gave you.
I'm not going to lie, I like Dana Brooke.
That's so funny. That was going to be my last pick for you.
Now I'm disappointed.
That's so funny. Oh my God. All right, no. Okay, all right. Fine. All right, I got one for you. I'll get one for you. That's fine. I've got plenty on my list. But fair
Wait,
enough.
Does that mean that your last woman's going to be is that mean your last pick's going to be a woman? For me?
Maybe not. Well, but I gotta keep going.
To be a woman.
I gotta keep going with the job idea, because I've got a lot of good tag teams, but I need ones to lose, and because as much as I like these guys, their best work is when they're helping build other people. I'm gonna reunite the Edgeheads.
Oh, no.
That's right.
I wanted Zack Ryder.
Ryder and Hawkins are coming to Camp ACPW to job their asses off.
So it doesn't work.
That's fine. I just wanted the tag team. And they're jobbing, so they don't even need to do anything.
Fine.
All right, sir.
So with that, I need to add another woman, and I need another woman jobber. So let's bring back Naomi.
Naomi, okay. I haven't seen a lot of Naomi lately. Oh,
yeah.
Now I'm in a pickle. Who do I take here? Okay, hold on. Let me think about this, because I do have a place I'm going.
This is your last pick of your own free will.
No, I've got two. You got two. I've got two.
Oh, wait, I got one.
You've got one. All right, I'm going to choose. All right, I'm going to save that guy for last. I'm going to save this guy for last, because I'm excited for this one. I'm going to take, because I need another jobber, and I need a babyface jobber, because Kenny Omega's not going to be a babyface. I'm going to go and I'm going to take another guy I've had before. I'm going to go back and I'm going to take Man Scout Jake Manning. Even though he's an unknown, he was a great jobber. And he did exactly what I needed him to do, and he's going to do the same thing for me this time around. Gotta have guys like that. I'm still taking him, because I still love the dude after all this time.
So I'm going to shock you with my 29th pick. I'm going to shock you with my 29th pick.
It better not be the pick that I'm hoping to take.
With the 29th pick, National Wrestling League selects Otis.
You son of a bitch. Wait, so did you choose just Otis, or are you taking both Otis and Tucker?
I'm just taking Otis.
You're just taking Otis. Okay. Who would have thought that here we are at pick 29, and I was just about to draft him.
Because you came up with the Dusty Rhodes gimmick, and I'm like, no.
That was no. Hold on a second here. No, you came up with the Dusty Rhodes gimmick. I was gonna pair him with Paul Ellering, and make him. I was gonna pair him with Paul Ellering and make him Nikolai Dragunov, because he's a Serbian, and his real name is Nikola Dragunov. I was gonna make him basically what? Oh God, what the hell was his name? Not Volkov, the other one. Oh God, no, it was Volkov. I'm sorry, it was Volkov. It was Volkov. I was thinking more. God, who was it? Crusher Darso. I was thinking.
Okay.
That was where I was headed with him. I was so pumped to make that guy. Oh man, that's deflating.
But I knew you would try to turn it into something good. And you want to know what I'm going to do with Otis?
Nothing.
No, he's going to be in a stable with Heath, Slater, and Rhino.
Oh, great. That's going to help him. All right.
Just two big, fat pieces of meat with Heath, Slater.
Fine. You want to go with beef? I wasn't going to do this. I wasn't going to do this, Sky, but you have forced my hand. Because now I've got to take a big hunk of beef myself. And this one, you may not see this guy for a while. I don't know when I'm going to debut this dude. But I'm going to have him, and I'm going to keep him in my back pocket. And I'm going to put him in when the time is right. Because with my last free will pick, you want to shock the world, I'm going to shock the world. I take Brock Lesnar.
I thought you were going to take Jinder Mahal.
No, screw Jinder Mahal. I love. Listen. Same deal with him. I didn't have anything good for him, and it didn't do Jinder the service I wanted to do him. And maybe later on when we do ads and drops over the year, I'll pick him back up. But right now, I'm gonna just take Brock Lesnar and sit on him. And when the time is right, I'll pull him out when it's necessary. So that leaves the last picks.
So give me the pick already.
And I gotta consult my list. Well, we've already decided I can't give you Brandy. So that's out. You took Dana Brooke.
And I wanted Dana Brooke.
You took Dana Brooke, which stunned me. That stunned the world with that one. All right, this is a pick between one or two, but I think at the end of the day, I'm still gonna help you out, Sky, because I'm a good man, and I'm gonna give you a job tag team because you need a job tag team because that's pretty much the only thing you don't have. You've got the New Day, you've got the Bar, you've got the Usos, you've got the Almighty Crew, you've got the North, you've got the Good Brothers. You've got 6 solid tag teams, but you need a tag team that you could just beat to a pulp.
Did you just forget the Motor City Machine Guns again?
And the Motor City Machine Guns. Sorry, see, this is what I'm saying. They wouldn't work with my format. You're going to treat them right. I'm treating them poorly. See? But I want to give you a team that you can treat poorly. Because I'm giving you my job tag team. That's right, Sky. You're getting Nick. You're getting Matt. You're getting the Young Bucks.
I thought you were going to give me the Street Profits, and I would have been even angrier.
Yeah, come on. I'm not an asshole. I'm just going to give you Spot Monkeys.
That's fine.
300. Yeah, see, I'm giving you a job team. I'm helping you out. Let it be known that my 3 picks for you, I helped you. I did not hinder you. Maybe Rhino. Maybe Rhino. But you know what? Now you got Rhino and Slater, so you got that too.
So I'm going to screw you over because I'm going to give you a woman.
Fine.
And you need some sex in your company because you don't have enough sex in your company. I'm going to give you this woman specifically because she has to manage RVD. They're a package.
Oh, no.
I'm giving you...
You think she's going to manage RVD. You think she's going to manage RVD, but you don't know what I'm going to do with her.
No. Specifically, she has to manage RVD as part of the pick.
No, you can't. I did not add any stigmas onto that, too. Calm down, Josh Again.
No, because you remember when Joshua gave you Shorty G, he said you have to keep the gimmick.
That was last year. This is this year.
No
matter what you can do. I'm not changing the rules, sir. I'm not. There was no requisite on these rules, which means that there was no, you have to keep him with this guy. That is not happening this time around. So you can give me Katie Forbes. I'll take Katie Forbes. But there's no guarantee she's staying with Rob Van Dam.
Okay, fine. I'll just give you Chris Jericho.
Okay, even better. Even better.
No, Katie Forbes. Let's go with the original. I'm not going to give you Chris Jericho because you're going to bury him.
You don't know that. Actually, you know what would have hurt? Honestly, Chris Jericho probably would have hurt me more than Katie Forbes just for the fact that Chris Jericho was another old dude. Where do I put him?
I don't know, but
even if it's
Katie Forbes, where do you put her?
Katie Forbes, well, but I could put Katie Forbes with a variety of people, and I can make something. Yeah, well, I wasn't gonna say that, but if that's where we're going with this, but
that's the truth.
But you know what, Katie Forbes. Here's the thing with Katie Forbes. There's something other than her shaking her ass that she has to be able to do. There's something else.
There is. Yeah, it's sucking dick.
Well, let's not jump to conclusions. It's got to be something else in the pro wrestling context that she can do. And I'm going to find out what it is. Now,
all right.
Now, before we get to this, I just want to talk about some omissions. Some people I wanted this is my list of people I also had in line for you. In case, and I chose not to because I took the high road and gave you people you could actually use. You could have gotten Joey Janela.
I would job them out.
You could have gotten Mandy Rose.
I would have jobbed her out.
You could have gotten Big Swole.
Oh. I would job her out, but I'd keep her matches so short that she can't get any offense in.
I almost gave you Sunny Kiss.
Oh.
So you're welcome, sir. I could have sunk your ship, and I chose to help you. Let that be known.
I mean, yes, but the Bucks are gonna with their egos. The thing, I have a question. Why is your roster so AEW heavy?
Well, I told you, a lot of them have talent. So many of them have talent. Let's look at this. Brian Cage, massive talent, not being used right in AEW. MJF, they've destroyed, but he's easily the best talent they've got. FTR, tremendous talent. Again, ruined by the booking. Jeff Cobb could have been great in AEW, ruined by the booking, went to New Japan's doing all right. Randy Orton's WWE. DIY's WWE. Orange Guava, both of those guys. There's something to them. And I've already established them, so I'm going to make some use out of them. Fish and O'Reilly are WWE. Eddie Kingston's fantastic. The Hardys, when they're the Hardys, are great. The Briscoes are Ring of Honor, but they're great. Adam Cole and Ryder are WWE. Shorty G's WWE. Cody Rhodes is AEW, and Cody's record speaks for itself. Trevor Mann's WWE. Titus O'Neil's WWE. Beer Money, neither of them are in AEW. Adam Page has a lot of potential. Now he's in the frickin' Dark Order. Andrade's WWE, Balor's WWE. Dustin Rhodes is terrific. Darby Allin's got potential. Vega's fine. Britt Baker, I've already established. Van Dam, you gave me. Omega, I'm going to make job out as the wrestling artist. And then, really, the AEW guys, most of them are good. They're just, you can't tell based on the show that they're on.
Okay, whatever you say, Tony Khan.
Well, Tony Khan's been the problem. And I genuinely believe to this point that both you, Skylar, or myself, either of us, could do a better job than what Tony Khan is doing right now booking that show.
So, you want to know some fun picks I considered for you?
Oh, well, I haven't finished my list.
Keep going.
I could have given you, I almost gave you Sting. But I decided Rhino
I don't know what the hell I would do with Sting. I would injure him, kill him, and get sued.
Well, you could just do what AEW's doing, just have him show up, look at people, and leave.
No, because in my company, you have to wrestle matches.
So, well, good luck with Rhino doing that. I could have given you Baron Corbin.
I could have figured something out.
You could have done something with that. I almost gave you Nia Jax. But I feel like you'd use her correctly.
I probably would.
Yeah, that's the thing. I would have given you Nia Jax, but you would have done a great job with it. And so I gave you people to challenge you instead. And then of course the old staple Marco Stunt almost made it.
No, because he's been fired and he's not coming back.
Well, and the other thing is, I also didn't want to give you somebody that had already somewhat been established in AEW or in NWL.
Established as a fucking jobber who gets killed and killed and killed.
But established nonetheless, and I didn't want to do that to you. Now tell me who you got for me.
So, I consider a lot of the guys that you already said. I was considering the Street Profits because I know you hate them.
I do.
For a good pick, I would have given you Jungle Boy because Jungle Boy is interesting.
Yes, but you would not have liked what I did with Jungle Boy.
I probably would have forced you though to have Luchasaurus.
Yeah, well, that would have been tough. I probably would have stripped him of the mask.
Now you want to know a fun one? I almost forced you to draft -1, aka Brody Lee Jr. Because he did wrestle a match.
I would have worked
it. Invited back on the show.
But honestly, with Brody passing just recently, I think that there's a lot of avenue for angles with that kid. I think you could have still made something work out of that. I think you still could have made something work out of that. I mean, I made Nicholas work.
No, you didn't.
Yes, I did. He showed up, nearly got his ass beat, and left, and ran away. And Titus O'Neil set up a great match with Jeff Cobb.
I wish Jeff Cobb would have broken his neck.
And Goldberg got paralyzed.
Right.
Come on.
Another one I was considering is that I was considering getting Jay Silver. Adam Silver? What? Wherever that guy
John Silver.
His name,
John Silver, yep.
John Silver.
He's pretty good.
Right. And then I thought about Chris Jericho, but the more I thought about it, the more like, you're not going to do anything with him. You're just going to bury him. You may like make him a manager of certain people. Like I'm sure you would have made him a manager of Orange Guava.
Oh God, that's actually. You know what? I wouldn't have thought of that. That's a great idea.
Oh.
And you know what? Because we still have the manager role where you can take managers anytime. Guess who's going to show up as the manager now? Of Orange Guava. The Ayatollah of Guavarola. Oh, yes, sir. I love that idea. Consider that stolen.
And their signature match is Forge Mimosa.
That's terrific. You know what? I'm just going to give Jericho Scott Hall's 1999 gimmick, where I'm just going to have Jericho with mimosas all the time, just getting hammered at ringside.
And you could have him try to recruit Adam Page to the Drinkers Club.
Come on. Oh, boy. All right.
The ideas just write themselves.
The possibilities are endless. Well, now I want to give you just a couple people that I thought that I could have drafted and chose not to. I thought about taking Jungle Jack Perry, as JR calls him, but I would have jobbed him.
And
I didn't feel good about that. Other guys I would have taken for jobbers. I like Jordan Devlin. He's a good hand. Probably would have jobbed him. Same with Sean Spears. I also thought about the Singh brothers. I thought about
they're okay.
I thought about keeping Jinder and the Singh brothers to make Jinder feel more important, but I think that what I've got with the division now is plenty.
Plus, you can always add them later.
Right? Yeah, there's plenty of time for that too.
I think one of the issues with this is that because we are limited with the slots we're given, we can't take everyone that we possibly want.
Right.
And besides, it helps to cycle ideas because you're not going to have wrestlers that you have nothing for just lay on the roster doing nothing.
Right. And the other thing too is like we'll tease this now and we'll talk about it later on. We plan on having 3 ad drop periods where we're going to have an ad drop in April. We're going to have 10 additional slots open where we're going to draft 10 more people in July, and then October once again we'll do another ad drop. So we are going to have some times to do trades and things like that as the months roll on. So it's not like It's not like everything is set in stone right now as this is the way it's got to be. And if we get another speaking out, we're going to have to do some immediate replacements again anyway. So
right. Well, that's another thing too is that like with professional wrestling, rosters always change. They never stay static. People
it's better.
leave, people get hired.
It's better that way. It's better to cycle talent.
Oh, I should have given you Joey Ryan.
Yeah, well, but he's on Skid Row right now. Nobody's going to book that guy anymore.
Oh, I should have given you Marty Scurll.
I mean, he's done. Marty Scurll I would have figured something out to do with. I don't know what. It might have been jobbing.
The Penguin in a baseball uniform do something?
Well, I'd probably take the baseball uniform off and just make him the Penguin, but here's some other names I got.
That's another drinker.
Yeah, throw him into the drinking clan.
The drinking club.
It's the, oh, God. And so, I thought about taking SCU.
SCU's... There are on borrowed time.
But well, that's just it. It's like I've got a lot of aging tag teams as it is. And SCU, and it's kind of the same with the wild cards. I would have taken them, but I don't know. I think that Bram's got a bit of a shelf life. But
Nick Aldis is one who I thought about maybe taking back and trying to rebrand him because I kind of killed him.
It's hard with Nick because I love Nick so much and I wanted him to. He was another top guy on my list, but I've already got top guys. And now that I've got Brock Lesnar that I'm just going to sit on until the time is right. You know, it's
I know.
You know, it's just Aldis would have been, I didn't want to turn Nick Aldis into Triple H during the Attitude Era. Where he was a guy and he was important, but he just wasn't as important as everybody around him.
I think that's fair. It's a difficult ask when it comes down to it because, again, 30 slots.
Yep.
You only have so many people you can push. I mean, I have 8 main eventers. I'm not going to be able to push them all at the same time.
Yeah. Well, that's why, like, I would have loved to have taken Pac as well. Pac or Eli Drake or Damian Priest. I would have loved to take Damian Priest.
Oh, that's one I forgot about. But that's another one where I'm like, I'm not sure what I could do with.
Yeah, but where do you put him? It's like it's the ultimate difficulty. And now that we've got a year of this under our belts, it makes it interesting now to draft differently. Now that we know how difficult it is sometimes with some of these big top name talent.
Plus, you intentionally went without a mid-card championship. I at least have a mid-card champion in Keith Lee who can beat people,
right?
And people can wrestle for that when they're not fighting for the world title,
right?
But you don't have a mid-card champion,
right? But I also think that plays better because I've got a pretty even balance of tag teams and individual talent, so it works better. Honestly, with the singles guys I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 technically, 6 when I'm done with that. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, not counting women, 16, 17, 18, 19, and you take Brock Lesnar out of it because I'm not throwing him. I've got 18 individuals. And 18 people, you could put you could put a mid-card championship in there, but I feel like it's not necessary with that amount of people involved. It's not enough to make it. It's like what happened to TNA's Legends Championship, or whatever they called it. They named it 1,000 different names, and then eventually just shit canned it.
Championship, TV Championship, King of the Mountain Championship.
Yeah, and they just ended up shit canning it because there weren't enough people to make a mid-card division mean anything.
The Jeff Jarrett TNA Mexican Championship.
Yeah. See, so exactly my case in point. I feel like a mid-card title, for you, it's perfect. Because you've got the format where a mid-card title makes sense. But for mine, it wouldn't fit. It just wouldn't fit. And I think it would get in the way of the angles that I'm trying to put on. And it would end up being, in a lot of ways, a hat-on-a-hat gimmick. Having a mid-card belt.
Mm-hmm. I suppose. I mean, we'll see how things go. They could change. You could choose to add a mid-card championship. I could choose to get rid of mine because, honestly, it hinders the bottom of my rankings because, ideally, everyone should be going for the world title, but why is the mid-card title there?
Right. And that's the difficulty.
I'm gonna have to work on that a little bit.
We've got 11 months to do it, Sky, and I'm excited, as I'm sure you are as well, to see where ACPW and NWL head in 2021.
That I am, but I think we're coming to the end of the show, right?
I think you're right, my friend. It's, as you can usually tell by the cadence of my voice, it's that time, ladies and gentlemen, to take our first commercial break. Next week, we're going to have a brand new news segment. We're going to have a brand new match of the week. We're going to have a brand new topic to talk about, and we're going to have a great superstar spotlight to put into the mix. And you got me thinking, Sky, for next week, because you mentioned somebody who's a good worker and a good talker, and I've never seen the appeal in him, let's do Finn Balor.
So you can scout the man that you're going to be having?
Well, so maybe I can find some more quality in him than maybe I found before, and we could talk about what we like and what we don't like about the guy at this point in his career, because he's had a hell of a career up to this point.
Yeah, he certainly is worthy of a superstar spotlight, and I mean, hey, we talked about him in face thing too.
That's right.
Finn Balor's getting over everywhere.
That's right. So we're going to have to do some research. We'll have to check out Finn Balor. So stay tuned for that. Sky, as always, great draft, great show. Great to have you on, as always, Mr. Co-host.
I thank you, and I will see you all next time.
That's right, folks. And with that said, I am your Colonial Champion, Sean McCarty. Thank you all for watching this fantastic redraft. Season 2 is coming at you, baby. And we'll be right back right after this.